Hello, hello. Welcome to Sekhmet Sundays. I am Zenryka Sa Sekhmet.
And I am Nefertari Sa Sekhmet.
So I just want to come on here and just share something. We are doing this Zoom because we tried twice in a row to do it live on Facebook. And immediately I had a download that the powers that be are trying to shut us down. And then Genevieve texted me, they're trying to shut us down. I'm like, yep, they totally are. So let's see how this goes for us to do a Zoom.
Right, right. Super excited to connect with everybody. Um, I think, Tangee, why don't you go ahead and get started with some great information this weekend from our last read that was about
Yes.
turbulence coming into the environment.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. That was like the best message that we had that Nefertari had pulled for our last one right before I left for Lightning the Bottle. It was literally the day I was leaving. That Sunday I was leaving, and she pulled the card Five of Wands, and she was mentioning that there was going to be turbulence. There was going to be, there's tribulations, but how we respond versus react is so important. And so it's how we stay grounded. How do we stay centered? And for some of you, you may or may not know what happened on that journey to get to LA, my son and I. Like this has never happened where we had a layover in Las Vegas, but because it was so windy, we were just kind of floating in the air, waiting to see if we could land. And because we were running out of gas, the pilot said that we had to land in Phoenix. So we land in Phoenix, they get more gas, and we were on the tarmac for about 2.5 hours. And we thought, oh, we'll just eat. We didn't eat in Austin because we thought, oh, we'll just eat in Vegas at the airport there. Well, it was 2.5 hours. There was nothing for Andrick to eat because he's gluten free. The only thing that was open was pizza and sandwiches. So we just stayed. And then the first they were like, if anybody leaves, then you don't get back on the plane. So we're like, okay, well, we're not going to leave. Thank God I had a deck of cards. So we were playing cards, Go Fish and War the whole time. But we were starving. Thankfully, I forget what I had. I think I had like pistachios or something for us to just snack on. Yeah, I had pistachios. But so finally, we get back to Vegas. We fly in. It was turbulent still with the wind, but at least we were able to land safely. And it was 1 a.m. And obviously, we missed our flight. So we had another flight at 5 a.m. It was our first time to sleep at the airport on a hard floor or squished up on a chair. So it was really interesting. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, here's the Five of Wands. So we get to LA. We get there at like seven something in the morning. My sister picks us up, my sister and our mom. And right when they pick us up, my sister's engine light goes on. And in order, she was dealing with this whole thing for 2 weeks. In order for me to drive her car, she had to get it smogged. But in order for it to smog, the engine light had to go off, it had to be off. But it turned on. So we had to go and get it checked. And they're like, drive for 80 miles. So here I am, just landing. I took a little nap. I took like a 3 hour nap. I'm like, okay, let's just take a nap. And then I drove for 80 miles because my sister hadn't slept yet. So she's like, well, I have to pick her up in 2 hours. I might as well just stay up. So I am driving for 80 miles. And then we go to three different smog places, finally with one that's certified with the one that we needed. And as soon as it gets approved, they're like, okay, green light, the car stops. It won't start. So we had to get her starter fixed. I know, it's crazy. It is crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, so we were a day late, a day behind. We couldn't go grocery shopping. We couldn't do anything because the car is working. It's in the shop. So yeah, so finally get to LIB. It turned out to be amazing. We had our own turbulence there, but it was just like staying centered. But then on the way back, flying home, had so many issues flying home. Like Andrew was sick. He was throwing up. We thought it was allergies. It was just chaos. So I'm finally home now. And throughout it all, though, was just having to realize, like, wow, I just have to stay centered. Oh yeah, and then I lost my ID, so I had to deal with TSA, all that stuff. Got my got a import. Thankfully, I got the email showing that I had a temper ID, but they wouldn't accept it because it wasn't stamped. It has to be
Oh,
stamped.
wow.
Yeah, so I had to pay $45 and have them ask questions. Even then, it even says in the thing, it's not guaranteed that you'll pass, that you'll be able to get through your flight. And thankfully we did, but it took forever. We had 40 minutes left, and the guy's taking forever looking through every single thing in my bags. And I had a lot of stuff in my bags because it was all my stuff for all my workshops and books and stuff for all my workshops for the parent portal at LIB. So it was just crazy. So that's my story of how I had to like stay centered and in my Zen. Talk about the Five of Wands showing up and being like, this is what the message you need, Tangee.
That's right. That's right. And you stayed centered through the whole situation.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fantastic. What's
yeah.
interesting too is one of the things, one of the every now and then in meditation, I do get a little vision. And during these times of challenges, during these times of turbulence that we have in our life, if you could just sort of picture that when you receive that influx of like shock, right? That shock information, like, oh my gosh, like I lost my ID, like you literally, when you feel that shock, that energy, it like pops a shade of color, right? It's either like a red color or if you can imagine a green color. And basically, what the universe right now is doing, it's making you pop whatever frequency is coming out of you. So yeah, it's stress, but it's also a combination of how you deal with that stress, right? So
Hmm.
it changes your frequency, your energy, and it's sort of separating, causing a separation. So you're going to find more people that are trying to say in your Zen, you're going to start flowing into a little bit more control, flowing into a little bit more of the people that are around you, right? Frequencies tend to resonate. So it's like, it was interesting the way that the universe was showing me basically when people get challenges, and lots of challenges are popping up right now because we're doing this right now. We're going through a separation right now. So the more challenges they pop into us, the more you're going to vibrate that inner life, that inner a response to that challenge. And that's what's really going to help us separate right now.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that. I never really thought of like the colors. It totally makes sense because we all have aura. We all have a color with our aura anyways. So it makes total sense, especially when there's stress. I mean, granted, was I centered the whole time? Probably no. I wasn't. Probably
But
saw
you
some
weren't
cups
out
of
there
red
causing
and
conflict, right? You weren't out there starting fights with TSA. You weren't out there
right.
giving your sister a hard time. You weren't out there reflecting on the kids at LIB because you had a horrible or a very challenging,
Yeah.
road to just get there. And then you weren't sitting there in resentment, like, gosh, nobody appreciates me when I do this every year and what I have to go through. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people will roll into that perspective,
Yeah.
like, why am I doing this? This is just so much for me. Like, is this really
Yeah.
worth it? And then they sit there and they start questioning their service.
Yeah.
You never did that. You were just like, wow, that's really interesting. All this other stuff came out, but you know what? I'm here.
Yeah.
And that's the value of the response.
Yeah, exactly. Because I do have that mindset of like, why is this happening for me? A lot of people do end up having that mindset if you haven't been doing the inner work. A lot of people will go into like the victim role, like, why is this happening to me? Like, why? And so that's where I've always just had that, why is this happening for me? Like, okay, this is this is a lesson, with like not losing my ID. you know,
Love
right
it.
before I'm
Put it
about
in
to
the work.
leave. Oi, that was intense. But yeah, so yeah, a lot of lessons, a lot of gifts this journey.
I'm working through turmoil, right? Not getting on that live today, but stepping
Right.
into connecting anyways. We're
Yep.
here for you guys anyways, okay?
Yeah, exactly. They may try to shut us down on live, but we are going to
Now,
record this and we are going to put it up.
that's right. That's right. So let's start into for Sekhmet Sundays, what exactly is happening right now, especially today. We had the Sagittarius full moon last night at 4:44 in the morning. So angel number. Um, so what I've been feeling through this particular full moon, and everyone really brings forth a different type of energy. And I just wanted to remind everybody, even with the turmoil, there's something positive that's supposed to be coming out of that. Messages that are supposed to be coming out of that. This particular weekend, and usually I start feeling full moon energy within 3 days. This particular whammy was probably up to 5 days beforehand. not being able to sleep, staying up in the evening. Tangee, you know what happens when that kind of energy flows. Night before last, it was probably one of the strongest and last night, and it was a lot of communication. The veil was extremely thin. If you feel your stones or your statues were coming to life this particular past few days, it wasn't in your mind. You may have seen glances of them within your mind's eye or to the side, which is where we usually see energies and spirits. Our frontal lobe tends to hide a lot of that information unless you are fully connected with your gifts. But if you're working on that connection, a lot of times you'll see it from your peripheral. You'll see movement. You'll see an actual picture. You'll see a shape of something, and you'll look over. You're like, no, I didn't actually see that. But you did. And if you think you saw more this last few days, then you definitely did. And
Yeah.
Tangee was also receiving communication
Oh yeah. Yeah.
from in within her room. Yeah.
Yeah, when I went into the ceremony last night, it was my crystals. My crystals were like all the ones that I work with and do healings with and quantum activations. They're like, oh, we want to reveal our name to you. So it was like that it was beautiful. Like I got to like really like sit with several of my crystals. There's only one crystal that I've always known her name, Sergelina, and this is actually a crystal that I had actually gifted to Damasio. And that I feel like, well, I know now that it was really for me to use on him. So I was like, I told him, I feel like this crystal wants to be with me so that I can do healings on you. And he's like, okay. And so this is the only one that called to me with her name. And the rest last night, ooh, it was so powerful. They're like, we are going to present you our names. And so I really feel like that was allowed them to come to life. Like they, when you were talking about the veil is thin, they're like, here we are. Now we are more alive for you. Now it's like more it just the magic when we name something, right? When it becomes known, it's just like it comes alive.
You are sharing. So, we as the physical beings, we carry a certain level of power in this particular realm, right? In the physical
Yeah.
realm, in the 3D, fleshy, physical, dense realm.
Yeah.
Our guides and our angels and all of those higher dimensional beings are on the other side of that ether. There's ether that separates all the different levels. And when we, from the love in our heart, and I'm going to bring forward my Bastet cat, we
Yeah.
from the love of our heart bond and connect with the essence of this being, this essence of this energy. We create almost like a communications portal, right? And the more we connect with that energy, the more that we see the essence of that deity, that being within whether it be a statue or the essence of the soul from one of our crystals, right? That works with us. And most of y'all know that our crystals find us, right? Our pets
Yeah.
come to us. Our crystals were, Tangee's crystals were communicating their energy with her. She wasn't naming them, they were opening up to her through that communication. And we need to understand that we carry a lot of power, especially being the divine feminine, especially being a portal of creation. We almost have how do you say, before this last weekend and before the past few years, we were running off of a landline through the ether, right?
Yeah.
Recently, especially the last few years, and I know a lot of you divine feminine, we've been hearing that all over the place as far as reconnecting with our divine feminine powers. What does that mean? That means understanding we actually have a 5G connection with our divinity. We've just been told we have a landline well, most of history, at least in the last 3,500 years, we've been told we have zero connection with the divine, which is not true. And the divine is trying to come forward right now and letting us know, like, hey, this particular moon is for communication. We're coming through more. Don't be afraid. No, it's not just in your mind. They're coming through with a lot of communication, whether it be certain reads, right? Another thing too that's coming through that's really important is that, and this came through from a read that I had for a client 2 days ago, it's asking for that communication, opening up how they communicate with you, so you know when the messages are from your guides or when they're just random. And truth be told, there is no such thing as random, right? There is no such
Right.
thing as accidents. Everything is
Coincidence. Yeah.
coincidence, right? So right now they want you to know. Okay, here's an example. Probably about 8 years ago, I was informed by my guides that I need to tell them what am I looking for as far as how they communicate with me. I said, okay, I want you to communicate with me through the color of royal blue,
Mm.
through butterflies, and through, I do appreciate teachings from like wise, from older wisdom, right? So those are the things that I let them know. These are the things that are going to be flashing in my mind, that if I see something with these particular identification markers, that I know it's from my guides. And it doesn't end there. So the teachers that they send me, they're named Anne. My four closest teachers, they were all named Anne. So I'm just like, okay. So when they send you these messages, or if I'll rando be on YouTube and I'm asking for information, or if I'm guiding myself, I'll click on something and the information will have a royal blue background. There'll be cards on there with butterflies on them or something like that. So don't doubt yourself with the communication. It's coming through super, super strong right now. Don't doubt whether colors are coming through. What do you consider the color, the image of communication with your guides? Like what can you give them as tools for them to verify their presence with you? And that's what's
Yeah.
coming through right
I love that. I love that. I want to add to that, like when you're asking for your guides to support you. So, like when I fly, anytime I fly now, I call upon my dragons. I call upon my Quanfinity dragons, the benevolent dragons. And whenever it's so interesting because there was turbulence on the way home, and I do not do good with turbulence. And so there was quite a lot of turbulence when we were going through, oh gosh, I forget where in Texas. But it was probably like an hour through Texas that we were going through, and there was turbulence. And I'm like, all right. And then they pre-warned us that, okay, going into Austin, there's going to be quite a lot of turbulence as well. So I just had the dragons. I envisioned my dragons like on each side, on the front and the bottom, one in front, one in back, and just all of them helping us. And literally, there was no turbulence going into Austin. And they said there was going to be turbulence. And so I just, when you're asking for support, you can ask them to support you in certain situations. So yeah, my dragons worked overtime for me for the flight home. Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. Another thing I do want to also share is and for the first time, I was asked to provide an offering on my altar. And, we have crystals on our altar. I do put flowers on my altar, but this particular one, I'd never actually, I'll put offerings that I choose to place on the altar, right? Whether it's a fresh bouquet of flowers or water that I've charged. This particular one, I was requested to provide beer, believe it or not.
Mm.
And the name of the beer I had, the only beer I had in my fridge, was called Blue Moon.
Ah.
So when you feel certain offerings, when you connect with your guides, what I'm also noticing more is to sit back and listen a little bit. Listen to what they're also offering. Listen to what they're asking you to put for their guidance, and kind of falling into now that they have the capacity or the capability to communicate a little bit more, they're asking us to allow a little bit of space for
Mm.
that, right? A little bit of space to receive that. And I think I had made a recent videos talking about automatic writing and the power within automatic writing and allowing your guides to commune when going into meditation. There's a ton of information on YouTube on how to begin that practice, but allowing your guides to actually commune through that silence and then writing it down and allowing them to be able to communicate with you is also super important. So yes, super important that we put our magic out there and we request everything and request their assistance because they need to know that. But also having that time and that space to listen to
Yeah.
to the guidance, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love it. That is the coolest thing I've heard, right? About your dragons.
Oh man, yeah, they, yeah, I have a quad I have four that there's five really, but the quadfinity, it's like they want to be called quadfinity. I'm like, okay, the quadfinity dragons. And then there's the
Love that.
one, there's Petros, the one that I've traveled with in other lifetimes. Yeah, that one, that's another story for another time.
So did we want to start moving forward into
Yes.
a couple of questions? The
Yeah.
fool, let's just dive into it, girl. Let's just dive into it. All right. First of all, Tangee, because you went through a whole ton of turmoil with everything happening this week, did you have any specific questions on what this next week's going to look like, or you want to just do a general?
Mm. For everyone that's listening, for the audience. I feel like it's something to do with like what is now that we've gone through the 2 weeks of like the Five of Wands, like what is the next step?
Ready.
That's what's coming through.
What's coming up next, y'all? Ooh, we got crossroads. All right. Right. We have crossroads coming up, guys. So having been going through a state of turmoil, a state of challenge. Okay. Seeds of abundance is coming through. Okay, that's the primary message. We're at a crossroads right now, working with our divinity and how they're going to be sending us what we need in order to move forward at this point in time with the frequencies that are coming through from across the ether. We have taking care of the abundance. And when I talk about abundance, this is anything that you might be wanting to bring into your reality right now. We know that our reality has been shifting. We know that we're rolling into the 5D and we're at a major, major crossroads. The overarching energy today is the Two of Swords, the direction that we're going into. And this is bringing in a video that I actually watched last night. This crossroads is, yes, it's for what we want to manifest, but it's going this way into how we're going to be utilizing technology and how we want to see the future of our planet and the direction that our planet is going into. The crossroads that we're at and the abundance that we need to that we're trying to put together for us, all of that is going to be able to be received and guided to us and directing us out, specifically utilizing our emotions. Okay, guys, right now our emotions is our guiding light. We're trying to get through a separation of this darkness. There's a lot of what I'm seeing is like a gray smoke, like a smoke screen that they're trying to kind of put over our eyes, and we're trying to utilize this emotion as we were just talking about, that spark of light and the light that you're emitting when you receive these challenges. That light through your emotion is what's going to be guiding us forward into the kind of reality that we're trying to create. Okay. So right now, the universe is trying to let you know there was a reason for that turmoil, but because we had to sort of emit that light, right now we're going through this gray phase of trying to figure out how to move forward through a lot of turbulence. And the universe is trying to remind you, you have that light. You've been practicing how to emit that light for the last 2 weeks. Use that light to help guide you through the fog. Now, a lot of fog. They're trying to put fog around our emotions, our guidance system, which is making me resonate right now because we were just having challenges trying to get on a live. Uh,
Yep.
and I'm feeling it all over me right now. They want you to know, okay, be fully aware that a lot of the garbage that you're seeing is just a smoke screen right now. It's a smoke screen. Oh my gosh, I need to show this to you. The smoke screen. You see all those bowls? I'm sweating right now. My guides are talking through me. You see all those bowls? Those are all the different opportunities. Those are all the different things that your emotions are trying to guide you. You see all the smoke around them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your emotions are your guidance system to what you're trying to create for yourself. And they're like, yeah, you don't need that. You need to look at this violence over here, and you need to look at this abuse situation over here. And let me just trigger your trauma over here so you can go back to that negative perspective. No, 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 no. We're trying to plant the seeds of our abundance and what we want to create. We are leading our direction, right? Not the horse. It's you that's leading your direction of the type of abundance and the type of life that you want for yourself. Synchronicities are coming through the Page of Cups, more emotions, okay, new beginnings, new synchronicities, new directions that the universe is trying to let you go into. And if you can stay centered with your energy, with the divine energies that are coming through the ether, with the sun and the moon, your masculine and your feminine, and you see the angels on the sky, the wings on the sky, this is you, your divine masculine and feminine, being guided by the divinity on the other side of the ether. They're trying to get us to where we want to get to, and that's to your wish fulfilled. That's to the type of planet that we're trying to create. That's the type of environment, that's the type of society we're trying to create, with more peace, less violence, more understanding, more compassion. The universe is trying to tell you right now, this particular week, utilize, utilize the communication that your guides are trying to connect with you. Recognize that they are trying to talk to you, okay? Find the best way in your heart that you are comfortable with in communicating with them. Okay. In the very, very beginning, I was not okay with seeing a full apparition. Okay. Now they come through very vivid through my dreams. I can have my eyes closed in a meditation and it will come through my mind's eye like I am wearing an HD freaking goggle unit. Talk to them. Let them know how to give you messages that you can receive. Let them know what type of language. Let them know if you only want to see it in your mind's eye in meditation. Another thing that I want to also let you know is that your body, like my own right now, will react when you have heightened levels of energy around you. Okay. You will feel it viscerally. It can feel like little chills, little truth bumps, you can call them, on your skin. I sweat quite a bit because the energy within my core is really high. I'm temperature wise, I think I'm a little cool, but I'm just sweating. So when you feel these little messages, when you feel any of their communication with you, recognize it, say thank you, right? Treat them like they are your friend, the friend that you haven't actually had on the phone for a really long time, that you love having this communication, whether it's 5 to 10 minutes in your morning saying, hey guys, good morning. How are you? I'm excited to start my day with you. Please keep me safe, keep me guided, and keep all good things coming to me. Okay. Keep my mind clear, keep my heart strong. Go through your day. You just touched base with them. You just acknowledge their existence. You just acknowledge their invitation to roll with you during the day. That's a big part of the communication, right? It's like, if you don't ever communicate with your guides, I mean, how many of you guys only like one conversation with your bestie all year? And then that one conversation is like, hey, bestie, I need something. Like, let's be a little bit more respectful to our guides and who they are to us, and the fact that they're here with your journey since before you started. And they're excited to just have that communication, just to be recognized. So this week's overarching messages is, guys, we are at a crossroads right now. And we need to remember that. Okay. We are in a major, major crossroads. Challenges are happening to help us emit the type of light that the universe needs in order to know where we're going. Are we emitting that kind of light that's going to guide us to the happy 1,000 years of peaceful awareness? Or are we emitting the type of light that is just negative? We're stuck on deprivation. We're stuck on trauma. We're stuck on blaming. We're stuck on all these negative things because we're being separated right now. Okay. And the amount of energy that's being emitted from you, that guiding light, is beyond important right now. Okay. So stay centered, go spend some time in nature. I have been noticing some comments regarding people saying, and more from the masculine perspective of, we need to rise up. We need to make things known. And this is even in the conscious community, that we're not happy. We need to come together and express some sort of, it feels more like a physical reaction towards our environment opposed to a right-brained energetic reaction. But our guides are letting you know that energy right now is different than energy a year ago. It's different than energy before then. It was like, if you can imagine trying to scream underwater to try and emit an energy or a sound frequency, opposed to you being out of that water, right? Like, we're not talking underwater anymore. Like, our guides can hear us crispy. Our guides can hear us emit frequency. And when you meditate, and even our auras, we can emit it, our auras from the right side of our brain, we can emit it up to a 25-foot frequency, okay? You guys, we have more power within our heart, within our energy centers than we know. And we are no longer trying to ring that drum or make that sound underwater anymore, because all of these solar flares, everything out has, all of that fire energy has been clearing out the ether so that we can have better communication that we've always had, that we had over 35,000 years ago, that the divine feminine has always been known to be able to commune through. That's our birthright. That's our gift. That's what we are. We're like energy emitting towers, right? And when we come together with our divine masculine, it's like what also came through this last few days is that the divine feminine is who is going to start the change on our planet. It's going to come from our vessels. And I'm not trying to put our divine masculine counterpart down at all. If anything, we are the ones that need to make that change with our divine masculine at our right side, allowing us to be protected and allowing the environment. We need to walk this road together, hand in hand. If you do have that divine masculine energy presence, this has nothing to do with gender either. Okay, I want to just clarify that. So you can have an intense level of divine feminine. There is a different level of a different type of magic if you are within the divine feminine physical vessel than if you are not. But that does not mean that you cannot still emit the heartfelt divine feminine energy from here. Okay. Outside of that, woman is going to make the change, but we need a centered divine masculine as that right hand for change, and it's just as important as the divine feminine. But we need to create a new world through our children.
Yeah,
right?
I was just gonna say that.
The new world starts with our children.
Yeah.
Okay. And so let's talk about the three different phases that can start this change. So as the maiden, the mother, and the crone, right? The divine feminine that's making this change. The maiden is going to start this change by doing the inner work to help heal the trauma. Okay. Because you need to heal the trauma, heal the tools that are going to guide you to the right divine masculine perspective that you can then join in union. Okay. And it's that union that's then going to lead you into your next power, which is the power of the divine mother, the power of the divine frequency of home, the divine frequency of wholeness, the divine frequency of foundation. And you provide that foundation not only to your children, but to your divine masculine as well, and to yourself, your own inner vessel. You must honor your temple, your vessel, and where the energy frequencies and where the magic comes from. You are the source of all magic in your life. Here, right here, okay? Not the candle that you light, not any other, little trinket or anything. The magic comes here. The crystals help support us, and your connection with your deity is here. Full cord here, okay? So you may not have all the little fancy things, a little separate room, but if you sit in lotus pose under your tree, you are making magic. You are that powerful. So reconnecting, don't allow the smoke to hide who you are, or to provide distraction, or to make you think that everybody is lost in this planet. We are not lost. You are not lost. Okay. You just need to let your light guide your way and commune with your divinity, so that they can expound that light even more. Okay. So that's our read this week. We're at a crossroads. Do not let the smoke screen hinder your emotions this week. Oh, did I forget to bring up the crone? The magic of the crone. Yes, the magic of the crone. So we went from maiden, then we went to the power of the mother and the power of the crone. This is the power of wisdom. Okay, you brought all that knowledge through. You've you earned that knowledge in the maiden. You've processed that knowledge, and you've grown through that knowledge in motherhood. And now you are officially the wise woman in your crone years, right? Accept that. In your crone years, we really have a lot more of that, I just don't give a damn attitude anymore. And that is sacred. God bless it. It's like no more judgment. It's like, I am too old to judge you, girl. Like, I know the truth in my world. I know who I am. I know my foundation. No, I'm good. Like, we don't need to sit there and pretend like we change things in our environment, we know that change comes from here, and we stabilize that, right? We stabilize and we help the maiden restart that process of teaching the young ones, right? That's the glory of having that matriarchal perspective, and why even in Eastern cultures, it's super important to teach traditions through that crone perspective, right? Through transferring that wisdom, transferring that stable energy with our children, that stability, that I know who I am, that identity, right? That's who our matriarch. Our matriarch carries the identity and the wisdom of the divine feminine. So, and then we help support the next generation with that transfer of energy, right? So it's never an ending in our matriarchal position. It's just a new beginning. So that's what's coming through as far as how we're supposed to sort of roll through all this darkness, all this cloudiness, and all that stuff. And guiding our new beginnings, and our new beginnings need to be guided from the smoke screen, guys. And just anticipate the smoke screen's going to be there. And let's just call it what it is. Let's just call it smoke screen.
I'd like to speak to that. I'd like to speak to that smoke screen because I feel like because the veil is very thin right now, it's interesting seeing friends and seeing people in my business, in my online business, and seeing friends like all going to Jesus, which is amazing. Amazing. You know, it's like that Christ consciousness, right? However, I'm also seeing like judgment. I'm seeing so much judgment around like, and it's so interesting. Like even I have like questioned, like, I'm like, with Sekhmet, like we are her daughters, and Genevieve and I have been brought to this place of like, no, we are moving through this, and then people are like, oh, that's the devil, that's Satan, and all this other stuff. And so I've just been observing how the smoke screen is coming through people that have been enlightened with Jesus Christ. I pray to Yeshua. He's always been a part of my. I think because I was raised where my dad taught me how to meditate when I was 4, and my grandma on my mom's side taught me how to heal myself at the age of 7. But you see, and so I had this different perspective because she was a reverend and she was a healer. She was a healer and she was a Filipino activist. Like I feel like my grandma was a shaman in her own right.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's so interesting. Like, well, here she is, a reverend, and she welcomed everyone in her church, everyone. And
Right.
then she was also a healer. So it's like I had this best of both worlds and never judged any of it. And so when I hear people that turn to Christ and go to church now, that I guess in this new age, which is not new age at all, it's called new age, but it's been around for centuries, thousands and thousands and
Right.
thousands of years. But it's interesting to hear them go, I didn't have, it was all about me through spirituality. And so until they turned to Christ, now it's like they've completely shifted. However, there's still judgment. There's still
Right.
judgment. So it's like what I want to share is like that smoke screen, like
Mhm.
seeing through even that smoke screen. So
Right.
trusting whatever modality whatever, Yeshua, God, Goddess, Sekhmet,
Mhm.
Isis, Buddha, whoever
Yes.
it is that you are connecting with, like trust. Also knowing that trusting in yourself, like, you have the power within you, but also trusting in yourself, like that whoever it is that you are feeling guided with, your
Right.
guides, also trusting that.
Right. And for those of you that do tend to lean towards more the Christian faith, this is just a little clear up for that. Okay. So there is nothing wrong, and we're not talking down at all about your connection with Jesus. So Jesus was our brother in divinity. Okay.
Yeah.
And what happened within the last 3,500 years, or after, just over 2,500 years, right, is that basically our divinity, our brother Jesus, was turned by man into a judgmental perspective for control. Okay.
Mhm.
And this happens constantly where man will take divinity's interpretation and divinity's guidance and divinity's wisdom and utilize that, especially if they're illiterate, use that to control the lower class masses, right? Take those words and transfer them into a perspective that is beneficial to them some way, and then emit a frequency of control. Now, Jesus was real, very, very real. Jesus was also married, legally married to Mary Magdalene, and you can find that in the Nag Hammadi text that they found within 100 years ago, and you can find it in there. But man decided they wanted to separate the divine feminine from the divine masculine, okay? Because that's where you can have control. And right now, all of our divinities, even Jesus, even Mary Magdalene, even Mother Mary, all of them are coming through saying, calling their children. And yes, you're absolutely right. There has been an increase of people going back to church for the last 10 to about 15 years. There was a major halt in people going into religions and becoming like priests and stuff like that. There was a point in time where it was just like rock bottom. They were sort of scraping around they had the lowest amount of people registering to be priests. And recently it's been going up because that call for connection to divinity is inside us, but there's a lot of people that don't know how to answer that call. So what they're doing is they're releasing to something that is more streamlined where they feel like I don't have to do a lot of that work because there's a lot going on in my life, right? There's a lot of bombs going off. There's a lot of war going on. And I need to release and just allow this perspective to take me. Okay. Because there is work when it comes to connecting with your divinity. There is some work that's going to be there. They're going to ask you to change your energy, your frequency, and to provide service. As long as you're connecting with your divinity, Jesus, Mary, Isis, Shakti, whomever you want to connect to, just make sure that that connection, that, like you said, Tangee, is in pure connection. They're here to guide us right now. But don't let the interpretations of man and man's judgment and man's boxes and man's how do you say agenda, okay, to keep you in that smoke screen, because that's man. That smoke screen is man. That is not divinity. That is not that the Christian belief system that Jesus was here teaching. Okay, if it was a perfect world for me, I would have a Bible this big written specifically by Jesus. That would be my greatest gift all day long. Jesus is my husband's divinity. Sekhmet is mine. You know, it depends on who wants to commune with you the most and who you want to allow in here. And I think that people going to Jesus are looking for something that's familiar to them, that maybe someone like Sekhmet. We didn't get raised, you know, communicating with Sekhmet. She knocked on our door and said, hey, you've got the DNA that I've been communicating with for thousands of years. I need you to wake it up because I've got a message for you and your sisters that you need to bring together. And what do? It's just like when Jesus comes down to you in a dream. You answer the call, right? You answer when divinity decides to choose you as someone that they want to work with so that you can provide service and uplift this planet. You know, you answer the call. So I do agree with you, Tangee. And there's going to be more of that. There's going to be more of that smoke screen.
Yeah, I feel like when we're going through the 5D, it's like that's where you were talking about the separation. It's like let's just get real. It's like the muggles and the ones that have been doing the inner work and then that have that connection, right? That are awake, not woke, but awakened, that are like, you know, they're really answering the call. And so like exactly like having Star Belly with me for 25 years, I know she was a sentient being. I didn't know she was Sekhmet. Like, right? Like, it's like, what? If you want to hear about that story, that's another story that we shared.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Reach out to us to learn more about that. But yeah, it's like we had the calling like to create this 5-month program, Reawakening the Mother Codes of Egypt. That wasn't a business plan that Genevieve and I had. That was Sekhmet bringing us together, going, okay, this is the calling for you. And so we're just answering the calling and bringing back the daughters of Sekhmet.
Right.
So, yeah. So I'm feeling like the now is just like really to just, with all that we're shared, like grounding this in. And so it's
Yes.
just closing our eyes down, taking a nice deep breath in for a 4 count through your nose. Holding it in your heart. If you want to put a hand on your heart, hand on your womb or your womb space, energetic womb space for your men that are watching this, holding it there for a 6 count. Hold it, hold it. Take a couple more sips in. Then exhaling for an 8 count through your mouth. Do that 2 more times, breathing in for a 4 count through your nose. Holding it there in your heart. your womb, opening up yourself, trusting that you are so safe and loved in this moment right here, right now, and exhaling through your mouth for an 8 count. Breathing in for a 4 count through your nose, holding it there for a 6 count. And just seeing this beautiful green golden light just expanding out of your heart and your womb, getting bigger and brighter and bigger and brighter and bigger and brighter. And exhaling through your mouth for an 8 count. And so what's wanting to come through is just trusting when you are at this crossroads, when you're at this fork in the road. I do light language. And for those that are watching for the first time, light language is just, I trust that I just know innately feel that we are not the only beings, the only planet. And so I just channel light language, and it's light. It's coming from the light and always coming from the light. And so in this activation today, calling upon only the highest frequencies of light and love and the divine plan, and anything that's not at the highest frequencies and divine plan may be banished and repelled immediately, permanently, and instantly by the stone guardians and protectors. And just letting you know that what I'm sharing in this space right now, God, just opening up your grid, your vessel right here that you are in, and just allowing yourself to relax. So anywhere that you have a little tension, maybe in your jaw, your eyebrows, your shoulders, your hips, anywhere, just let it be loosey goosey. And just envisioning the smoke screen, just envisioning like this electric fan is just blowing away the smoke screen. Yeah, Maporo. All of it is just disintegrating, disappearing, go into thin air. And the fan is just clearing up the space for you to be able to see clearly what path, whichever path it is that you feel aligned with Yeshua, Buddha, Krishna, Sekhmet, Goddess, Divine, Universe, whatever it is, just seeing clearly, feeling clearly. Guru Ma'ara, like Genevieve was talking about earlier with like the truth bumps, like allowing yourself to be viscerally feel within your vessel what feels true. Guru Ma'aria for you. Guru Yetra Ma'aria. Muro Badrana. And whenever you start to question what your truth is, anywhere that you start to question it, and this is where I'm going to go into my neurocode quantum therapy, and it's a thing called access consciousness. And so I ask a question, and just like the light language, I'm going to be sharing like they call it a Hogwarts statement, and just knowing that it's all again coming from the light and not worrying about the words I'm saying, but it's the frequency and the energy that I'm coming from is always coming from love. And so anywhere that the smoke screen just keeps coming back to blind you, shall we delete, uncreate, and destroy? And when I say shall we delete, uncreate, and destroy, you just say yes, you're giving me permission to clear that space. Let's clear and transmute across all times, dimensions, space, energy, and realities. This and a gazillion times infinity. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pod, all 9 shorts, boys and beyond. Taking a nice deep breath into your womb, to your heart. The dragons are wanting to come through. Breathing out. Their light language is pretty intense, but it's just power. It's like that strength. That fire. And so they are burning, like Sekhmet, burning away all the falseness all the things that are keeping you at that crossroads, that are keeping you stuck. Anywhere that's keeping you stuck, shall we delete, uncreate, and destory? Let's clear and transmute across all times, dimensions, space, energy, and realities. This in a gazillion times infinity, right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pod, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. Taking a nice deep breath in. And just breathing out with a nice hiatrama kakoro, moriatrama, allowing the joy to come through. Himalayas right now. This is her name. This is my wand. This wooden, beautiful hummingbird. She told me her name last night in my ceremony for the full moon. Gyama Tramara, and allowing all of us to be able to receive the messages from our guides, from the tools, and within you, you are the tool. You are the healing modality. And just trusting, surrendering, and knowing that you have the power within you. And anywhere that you feel like it's outside of you, shall we delete, uncreate, and destory? Let's clear and transmute across all times, dimensions, space, energy, and realities. This in a gazillion times infinity, right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pod, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Guru Ma'ara, and just seeing the balance. It's the balance. It's like the masculine and feminine coming through. And so this is Nebula. This is my dragon, Labradorite. It's her name and his name, the masculine and feminine. Divine, Nebula and Nebulion, Guru Ora Matriata Solo, Upotramadra Ia Kakukura Papramaria, Naria Katruya, Ia Kapa Uru Patramaria Tro Uru, Ia Kaku. It's really time for us. It's time. It's like this is, hmm, it's time to stop questioning ourselves. Yeah, it's okay to question once in a while, but when we question all the time, like, yeah, it's fine. That's the human side of us, right? And so it's allowing us to upotrama aria oro to like to be gentle to ourselves. Upopotrama iaka o. And always coming back to the truth. The smoke screen is the illusion. And so it's Guba Nama Aria Oro. And so what they're wanting to say is like coming back to your center, like staying grounded. When you have, whether it's praying, whether it's in prayer, whether it's, going to church, whether it's going to the temple, whether it's going you meditating, you becoming the temple within yourself, whether it's going into nature, whatever it is, whatever is your church, wherever is your temple, your sanctuary. Upadrama Arya, being there, going there, making it a consistent practice. Upotramadra iyakakurura, uyakakuru. And so they are sharing, making a consistent practice to be in ceremony. Just like what Nefertari was saying earlier, was saying to your guides. And I'd like to shift it. I just watched something the other day, a reel. It was like our words are so powerful, like the words that we say. So it's like, words, the English dictionary has made it where there could be two double meanings, and one could be positive, one could be negative, like good morning, like, but also morning could be like mourning something, like the death. So it's like grand rising, good rising. So it's like being mindful of our words and what we're saying. So lo ora, but having that, like sharing grand rising guides, good rising guides, my galactic team, not taking them for granted. Like I took Petros for granted and I didn't even realize that Petros was around. And that was my first dragon that I ever connected with many, many, many centuries, many lifetimes ago. And so it's like now I have this beautiful connection with the dragons. Upatramaara, and thanking them, like, right? Being in gratitude. So connecting to your guides, connecting to your galactic team, your angels, and thanking them, like bringing offerings, like Genevieve and Nefertari was saying, bring offerings and being in ceremony with them. Yatra, Gilmoria, Dramaria, Diada. Shoo, 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 shoo. And what's feeling coming through is for us to hum the joy grid. And so I want you to envision like this beautiful crystalline tube coming from the cosmos, and one coming from the heart of Mama Gaia, and one coming from the heart of source consciousness. And inside these crystalline tubes is the golden Fibonacci spiral coming through, spiraling down, and this beautiful turquoise water, living water, trickling down and trickling up, creating this DNA, coding you, Gura Magaya, coding you with clear focus, coding you with vision, true vision, allowing you to really see and feel with your third eye, your pituitary gland. There we go. The all-seeing eye of love and light. And breathing in, we're going to go through each chakra humming. Breathing in with your root chakra, the lower octave. When I count to three, we're going to hum. 3, 2, 1. Hum. And when you're humming, I'd like you to smile. So this is the joy grid. This is the hummingbird. The hummingbird symbolizes joy, the sweetness of life, and resilience. We're so resilient. And going to your sacral chakra and smiling when you hum, breathing in. Hum. And now go into your solar plexus. Beautiful golden light coming from your diaphragm, your belly. Breathing in. Hum. And going up to your heart, seeing this beautiful emerald light exuding from your heart. Breathing in. Hum. Rising to your throat, this royal blue light coming from your throat. Breathing in. Hum. Going to your third eye with this beautiful indigo light. Koromari atriato suluru. This is your third eye, allowing yourself to open up, open up, open up, open up your grid. Koromatraya iya katruru. Breathing in. And now going to your crown chakra, this beautiful violet light. And going to the highest octave that you can, breathing in. Hum. Guriata sulura maia traia kata sulon madiara. Moro coraria tiama. The smoke is clear. The smoke is clear. Guru, now you have the all vision, clear focus. Mora traia. Seeing through like the condor's eyes above, seeing the bigger picture. Mora katra maria kako. And so it is. Amen. Aho. Ashe. And so it is.
What is? Real quick, sister. Just, oh, process, right? Final process, final message. So we got the clouds connecting with our spirit team, our guidance, our divinity, and then the 9 of cups being your wishes fulfilled. So when we get rid of the smoke, then everything will come together. The environment that we want will come together, and it's just a beautiful transformation. Yay!
Wow.
Can't be any more clear than that.
Right? So that's it for our Sekhmet Sundays. We will be back for next Sunday. Thank you all so much. We love you all.
Ah.